one of these special nights this season go right for us, please. Because the Hawks lose in overtime to the Arizona Coyotes at home. That's embarrassing just for that sentence. But this game was at the perfect time on the calendar. Jonathan Toews just played his 1,000th game, and like Patrick Kane's 1,000th game, the team just fell apart on the road. In the Dallas game, they at least got a goal. For Jonathan Toews, they didn't even score, so that's just wonderful. But they honored Patrick Kane against the Canucks. They didn't win that game. It wasn't really that even good of a game. And this one, they play against the Arizona Coyotes. Literally only team in our division that is worse than us. One of the few teams in the league that's actually worse than us. And yet they still can't buy themselves a win. You want to win these kinds of games not for whoever you're honoring. You want to win to honor your legacy players. So you want to win for the legacy nights that we had over the past year or two, and they've won very few of them. And this one included. This one, not necessarily like honoring Jonathan Toews, but it's honoring his 1,000th game. Pre-game fanatics, everything. And then you go on to the ice, and it's just... I'm so tired of this season already. I'm so sick of this season. Just nothing has gone right for this team. And I know it's not going to go right for the rest of the year. We're going to have to wait until next year. I just want the season to be over with. And there's still 3 weeks left for us, which I know why you have to play, because positioning, making sure you can get into playoffs and whatnot. But for this team, man, just phone it in. The team, if you lose to the Arizona Coyotes at home when you're honoring Jonathan Toews for his 1,000th game, it's irredeemable. You get one shot to win for said player. You get to one shot to win that game. You don't get another chance to honor Jonathan Toews' 1,000th game. You can't go, shucks, they lost. Well, we're going to go ahead and do the ceremony again and just hope that they win the next game. Sound good? Awesome. This is not how it works. That's not how it works. You get one shot, and they blew it. Again, by the way. They've had a legacy night for Kane's 1,000th game. They blew that game. They honored Marian Hossa's legacy. I don't remember exactly which game it was, but it was probably really, really, really forgettable, which means they lost, if I can't remember and recall what that game that is. We had the Nicholas Jarmelson honor game that they actually won in overtime. So they did something right there. Then you got this, and then you have all the off-ice fiasco that happens at the beginning of the year that we aren't even going to touch. We haven't even touched that part of the team. The on-ice product is garbage. And we haven't even mentioned the off-ice scandals, drama that is making the entire league hate the Chicago Blackhawks. So the game goes to overtime. I have kind of watched some of these games this year since I do have an ESPN Plus subscription. I have been able to watch the Hawks games this season, which usually I am not, because NBC Chicago can cost quite a bit on a normal cable subscription. But with ESPN, you pay like $6 a month, and you literally get to watch every single out-of-market game, which out here in Colorado means I can't watch any Avalanche games, which, honestly, it's for the regular season, I don't care. Because most, if not all, of the playoff games in the NHL are nationally televised, so that's not going to be an issue. The problem with this is that the Hawks suck. And I haven't really been able to, and not necessarily been able to, I just have chosen not to watch the games because the team sucks. That's the thing. Like, this is the cold, hard truth. Some of the things that, some of the review may be a bit not necessarily harsh, but a bit like kind of shallow because I haven't watched the game in full. So I don't. It's this was a game I actually tuned into when I saw the game was hanging overtime. It basically the point that I'm trying to make here. And throughout the entire overtime, I was just praying that they didn't screw this one up because they'd screwed up a couple of some of the other ones that have happened this year, which you usually don't have that many. And period. Most franchises don't even have legacy nights because they're either too new or they don't have players that are of that caliber, and or they just don't do it because they don't need to. This, well, I see you do it for putting stuff in the rafters. It's a huge moment. You retire a number. You put up a championship banner. It's massive. But with the Hawks, they've just been doing legacy nights just to honor a player that was good when we won the cups, because that's what's going to get people to get into the arena. This is not necessarily one of those cases because it was a current thing. Toews hitting 1,000 games. You usually get the silver stick and everything. That's usually that's the formality that every team does. So in many cases, this is even more special. As rarely players hit 1,000 games, much less twice in one season. And for this game to end the way it did, it's almost poetic and it almost resembles the entire season in a nutshell. This is where the Hawks can't finish. They struggle finishing games. They find themselves in overtime a bunch. They can't score late. They actually were down in the third period and actually tied the game, which is a rarity with this team. And I'm just going to get to it. This game ends with Shane Goss to spare, and the Coyotes were on a power play, by the way, so that kind of is. I saw that happen, and it was just, oh, great. The Hawks are going to have to go to a shootout to win this game, was basically my thought process. And Shane Goss to spare has it up towards the blue line. He just takes a shot, and it goes in the net, and the Coyotes win. Okay, Shane Goss spare scores. He's a good player. The thing is, it went off a Hawks player's skate, which made it more difficult for Lankinen to make the save, and it was pretty much evidently what put it into the net. The thing is, the player's skate that it went off of was Jonathan Toews. So I can't even blame the team around him that failed him. Jonathan Toews was the one who kicked it into his own net on the night that they were honoring his 1,000th game. Poetic, ain't it? Because not only the team, but the organization has kept shooting themselves in the foot game in, game out, week after week throughout this season. It's really disappointing, and it's really frustrating. It's just as a fan. So with these 3 days off, does the rest of the NHL do enough to eliminate the Hawks? Or will they still have something to play for against the Kraken? A team that they can actually beat as well. Another one of the teams that are under them in the standings. And they're home again. So you have 3 days rest. You're playing an expansion team. So, I can give them, the benefit of the doubt. It's your first year as an expansion. Most expansion teams suck. Vegas is such an exception, such an outlier for expansion teams across all sports. This is how usually a first year for an expansion team goes. Not good. Oh, sometimes the bottom of the league, bottom of the barrel, last place by a long shot. I'm looking at the end of the 90s, Thrashers and Preds teams. But you have 3 days off. You play the expansion team at home. Your first time hosting the Kraken. Could you win maybe? Just for us? Just for the fans? Because Lord knows your playoff chances are shot. Even if you haven't been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs by the time you play the Kraken, it's over. And if you lose that game against the Kraken, it's over there. So, please, can you just at least look decent to end the season so we can say, hey, this draft pick that they may, move back a couple spots because of the draft lottery. This draft pick that they may even have a top 3 draft pick. Who knows? Maybe they even win the dang draft lottery. Very, very long shot, but who knows? Maybe they actually do win the draft lottery. If you look somewhat decent to end the season, then you can say, okay, this new draft pick will be good. How's the team? And you can develop from this. You can grow from this late season decency, mediocrity, if you will. If that's what term you want to use. But for us, that's all we can ask for at this point. If they're fantastic towards the end of the season, even though it's too late, good for them. If they suck, oh well. Let's guess we got next year. But I am just asking, can you please win just more than 3 games for the rest of the season? I'd like to, have some sort of happiness towards the end of this year. Man, it's been a long year. Anyways, enough rambling. I've done the whole they lost to the Arizona Coyotes thing a bunch, and the last time they lost to Arizona, which, by the way, you lost to them twice, man. Really? But I'm going to end the video here. Just a disgrace in general to not only Jonathan Toews, but the team, and to the league. Just everything. This team's just awful. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, please hit that subscribe button for more videos. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.